Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Teresa and I'm glad you guys have decided to join me today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a Dollar Tree Valentine's Day DIY. But before we get started, if you are new, make sure you hit that red subscribe that's down below and don't forget to hit the little bell that will send you a notification every time I upload a new video. And if you know any friends or family who would enjoy this or any of my videos, make sure you share it with them. So if you want to see what I do with these two hearts, stick around and we'll get started. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to give you a list of the supplies that I used, as well as leave a list down below in the description box for you. So you are going to need 2 of these wooden heart, they call it do-it-yourself pieces from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need some paint. I'm going to be using my Waverly chalk paint in white as well as in gray. It's a light gray. This is actually called silver lining. And then I'm also going to use the chalk paint in black. You will also need some paint brushes, as well as some type of pen, pencil. I'm going to be using a Sharpie. You'll also need a ruler, a pair of scissors, as well as some twine or jute. I get mine at Walmart, however you can get it at the Dollar Tree. They carry it as well. And then possibly some type of a ribbon. I have this burlap and lace wire edged ribbon from the Dollar Tree that comes in 9 feet that I may use. And then you're going to need some type of a glue. I'm going to be using E6000 and hot glue. So to get started, you're going to cut off the ribbon, and then we are going to give both of these hearts a couple of coats of this white paint. And like I said, I did do 2 coats. And I did do front and back on mine for 2 reasons. One, I could see which side I liked better, and the other reason was because I'm going to be hanging it over a mirror or on top of a mirror, so I wanted the back side to be finished. So once we get these painted and dried, we are going to come back in and we're going to create our buffalo check. And how we're going to do this is going to be with our ruler and our Sharpie or pencil or pen. And basically what I'm going to do is determine where I want to start my vertical lines. And I am just going to lay my ruler down on top of the heart. And I am going to be making each of my lines the width of my ruler. You could do it smaller or larger. If you wanted to go a little bit bigger, you could do like a ruler and a half width apart, which would look really cute. Or you could go smaller if you wanted to. Now, you don't have to use a ruler. You can use painter's tape if you'd like. I see a lot of people use painter's tape. I just feel for me, using the ruler is so much easier and faster. So now here I'm putting on my horizontal lines, and again I just determined like where I wanted the lines to start and went from that point and worked my way down the heart. And I did the second heart off camera, but now I'm going to determine where I want to start painting my gray. And you can either start at the very first row or you can skip a row into the second. I chose to start on my second vertical row, and then you just paint every other row all the way across, and then you're going to use the same process to determine how you want to do that, how you want your rows to go vertically or horizontally, I'm sorry. And I was really happy with the coverage of this gray paint, being that it was so light. I wasn't sure how many coats it was going to take to cover up the Sharpie. Once I put the Sharpie on there, I was like, oh man, I probably should have used a pencil, but I was really pleased with the coverage of this paint. I only really had to do 2 coats to cover the Sharpie lines completely. And just going to take your time when you do your rows. It's kind of like, you know, when you color inside your lines. So first I just kind of take my paintbrush and I run it down the inside of the lines, and then I fill it in from there. And as you can see, I did use a smaller paintbrush. It's not as wide, and it's also a flat brush. So for me, it just gives me more control of where my paint is going. However, I'm not perfect, and I did have several mistakes, as you will see throughout this project. And it's no big deal if there's a mistake. If it's too big of a mistake, you go in and correct it with, you know, either the gray paint or the black paint, whichever, or the white. It's just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, or at least for me, it doesn't have to be. That's what makes it a DIY, and that's what makes it perfect in my eyes, is the imperfections. So as you can see, I'm just finishing up putting my horizontal lines on my first heart, and then I do the second one off camera. And then once I get everything dry, I am going to come back in and start adding my black heart or black squares. Now, how you determine where you want your black squares to go is really, really easy. How you're going to determine where each of the black goes is where your vertical and horizontal lines intersect and connect. So where that gray vertical and gray horizontal line become one is what is going to be your black square. So basically, just like when we did our lines, we went every other row. It's kind of the same thing with the black squares. It's every other square is where they connect. And I just take my time again, and I basically do my outline first with the black paint, and then I fill in from there. And like I said, I just take my time, and I do have several mistakes where I'm a little bit outside of my line, and that's not a big deal. I just come back in with the gray paint and fix it. And I don't want it to be perfect, honestly. I mean, I like to have those imperfections. And we're just going to continue making these black squares. And I think I did this in 4 times speed for the actual buffalo, you know, adding the black squares in. It's not a hard process at all. I know it's very intimidating. I was extremely intimidated to do it the first time, but then once I did it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. And I have been a buffalo check creating fool. I've made several projects throughout my house using the buffalo check pattern. So, and like I said, you could use tape if you wanted to do it to make, you know, if you feel that that would be easier. And with the black paint, I did only need to do 1 coat because it does give such good coverage, and we're going over lighter paint, so there's not a lot of bleed through. So now we're just going to start on the second one, and we're going to do the same thing. So each square that intersects and becomes one on the vertical and horizontal will become the black. And this is the heart that gave me some problems, where I was way outside my lines, outside my squares. So I did need to do some corrections on this one. The other one's not too bad. I mean, there were a couple squares that I needed to go back in and just even up with the gray. And again, just take your time. There's no rush. But I love how they actually turned out. And I just love the white, gray, and black colors together to begin with. in there. You'll see there's a little. And I do have another project that I did for Christmas where I did a wooden stocking that I had got from the Target dollar spot, and I will leave a link for that on the, I'll put an iCard for you so you guys can see that as well if you need additional video to watch. So now we're almost done with our black squares, and once we get that done, we are going to determine how we want and where we want to connect these two hearts. And I had a basic idea that I wanted them to, like, I wanted the top part to be kind of at a diagonal. And what I did was I figured out where I wanted it placed, and then I took my E6000 and put it on the back part of the heart, of the top heart that will be touching the bottom heart. And then I went in with my hot glue and put some of that on as well. And basically the reason I use the two is the hot glue gives an instant hold and the E6000 is more of a permanent hold. So now we're just going to add our twine for our hanger, and you're just going to want to determine how long you want this to hang. And then you just run your twine through the two holes, tie a couple knots on the back side, and trim off your excess. And then you've got your hanger added. Now I'm going to see if I want to put my burlap ribbon on. And I just did a quick little makeshift bow to see how it would look. And as you'll see, I put it in several different places, and I just wasn't feeling the bow. I don't know, something, it just, I don't know, I like it better without it, so I just decided not to use it. So that's it, you guys. This is my neutral Valentine's Day buffalo check DIY. And as you'll see, my lighting also changed in this. When I was done, my light bulb went out in my dining room, so I put a new one in, and it's a daylight bulb, which gave me a much better light. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you are new to my channel and you want to see more of my videos, make sure you hit that red subscribe that's down below, and don't forget to hit the little bell that will send you a notification every time I upload a new video. And please leave comments, questions, or suggestions down in the comments section, because I love to hear from each and every one of you. And if you know any friends or family who would enjoy this or any of my videos, make sure you share my channel, because I would love to have them as part of our friends and family. And that's it, guys. So from me to you, great big hugs, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.